rotate your phone. You see what it did?
Oh, what about that? Are we live? We're live. Hey, everybody. Don't mind these technical difficulties. We're getting it so you can see us. We want y'all to see our smile and shine. If it's crooked, it's to the this way. To this way. To the wall. This way. This way. Yes. Right. Okay, yeah. Okay. Hey, are y'all there? I know. Thank you. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but you should expect that of us by now. And roll with us on it, because we don't mean it, but it's a learning process, and we just keep going forward even in our learning process. Welcome to the Colbert Connection. Today's Tuesday is 6 o'clock. It's probably 6:01 now. And we thank you for joining us today. As usual, we've got some interesting topics. And one that's for real out there in the center of everything is Will and Jada.
Who? Say what?
What? Will and Jada. Now, we love Will and Jada. We love them.
We love them. I love, back when he had summertime.
Hey.
And y'all know I don't sing, but
we just really need to know what's going on.
Marvin Gaye said that best.
And yes.
What is going on?
I mean, and I get you said this is something that happened 4 years ago, and that's understandable, and y'all worked it out and going strong and that kind of thing, but entanglement with August. Y'all tell us, what is an entanglement to you? What does entanglement mean?
I had to Google. I had to look it up. I'm not even gonna lie. What is this a real word?
Entanglement.
In compromising situation. Or you compromise. Take that however you will.
So does that mean you compromised on the situation, or
it was a compromising situation?
I just want to know, that's all. I'm just looking for some input on that, because, and not judging, but y'all gave us some ammunition. That's all I'm saying. You gave us a little bit of ammunition, and so we're just trying to see what is the underlying meaning. What are you not saying?
I think it's interesting they took all of that, went to the red table and discussed it right in front of everybody.
In front of everybody.
I saw that 50 Cent had something to say to him later about, bro, on the middle of social media? Like,
and I guess to their point, because their lives are Hollywood. I mean, they've always been in front of the camera, and everything they do, and their kids. It's a little uncomfortable for Jaden, I think, because that was his friend.
Right.
So, yeah, and she's supposed to be a therapist of sorts. So we're just trying to get some weigh in on it, on what you guys think, because I mean, we're all human. They're human too. Just because they're
famous and
in the camera a lot,
stuff happens. But I think it's been interesting that it's always been rumored the open relationship, the open marriage.
True.
I don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
That was the first I'd ever heard of it. But
open invitation, I guess.
Open invitation, open marriage, entanglement. Google these words.
Google.
All right.
Google. So that's Will and Jada for, we're like, and I really was a little disturbed at the end when they said, we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life.
That's what they said?
That's what they said.
I missed that.
That's their motto.
Bad marriage for life.
I mean,
it might not be hope for everyone, I guess.
We were a little confused, but, hey, it is what it is. And everybody's got their own thing that works for them.
Well, speaking of things that work.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of these shelves and situations from Wayfair. I've never been a Wayfair shopper.
Me either. But I like the commercial, though. The jingle is cute.
The jingle's great.
Yeah. It's great.
But like I said, I've never been a shopper, so I don't really know how the sign-up situation, all that works.
Yes.
However, what I saw on the news had me concerned about the Samaya bookshelf that I might have thought about ordering before.
A little disturbing. A little disturbing.
Have any of y'all even seen this? Because I didn't until Mel brought my attention to it. Anybody seen the situation going on with Wayfair? Everything to us is a situation.
It's a situation.
In case you haven't noticed.
It's a situation. They're talking about sex trafficking, kid trafficking.
Yep.
That's serious.
Kid trafficking. You buy this shelf, I guess.
Comes complete.
Complete. And it has a child's name attached to some children missing right here in the United States, mind you. The one was Samaya or something along those lines, and you Google that name and you find this missing child from Virginia or wherever with that name. So it'll say like the Samaya blah 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 wooden oak bookshelf. Very awkward. And it is even more awkward that all of those posts came down after someone brought this to light.
After a lot of people started Googling and seeing, and yeah. So if you're not doing anything illegal or that's concerning with that, why did you take your stuff down?
Because that makes you look even more guilty.
I'm just saying. And this isn't the first we're hearing of the sex trafficking and child trafficking issues going on.
That's right.
You know, the Epstein, how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Epstein.
All of that.
Yes.
So I think it's going to get deeper. The more it gets looked into, I think there's going to be more fallout from it.
Absolutely.
More high-profile fallout from it. And that's a sad thing, but I'm here for it. They need to dig deep into that. Some of the things that we have going on need to be pushed off to the side, and this needs to be centered on and paid attention to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you got kids. Kids shouldn't be thinking of anything except school and having fun.
But they might need a bookshelf to put their books on for school, and if I were going to order one from Wayfair, I sure wouldn't want a child showing up on my doorstep in the Wayfair box.
In the Wayfair box. Help.
I don't know, people.
We help us understand. Maybe
help.
something we're missing.
Please help.
Yeah. But like I said, kids, they need to be carefree. And right now they're going through a lot. They're going through a lot with not being able to be with their friends on a daily basis like they're used to, hanging out, not being able to attend school. You know, basically their school was cut off when spring break hit because they didn't ever go back.
True. So you think you're going back, and I just really feel for the seniors. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. This is your senior year, no prom. Yeah. None of those things, you know, graduations were even really awkward. But those are the things you look forward to. I mean, I did anyway.
That you consider a normal school experience.
And what is normal anymore? I mean, let's talk about that. School in the fall. Shall we or shall not we?
We did graduate. We are graduated. Yeah, we are educated. That's a good question though, because a lot of people, and the surveys have went out, the school system sent the survey out, and the state of Missouri has actually sent guidelines out. Okay. And so, should kids go to school during the fall, or should they be online? Or should it be a combination? What say you, American public?
We want to know. Talk to us, because I don't have any children, but I would be very leery to send them back to school just because of how I feel and compromise immune system and all. However, with this COVID situation that we're in, another situation, there's so many miscommunication. Yeah. So much miscommunication. And then also, some of it I don't even feel is miscommunication. I just think people are straight lying at some points. Well, so you don't really know.
Yeah. If the information could be clear, concise, and accurate, and pertaining to what is really going on, and not hear something different the same day or the next day, that would help. And not saying that they're not discovering new things and that kind of thing, but at some point, you have to have a baseline. Mm-hmm. And when that baseline keeps moving, you don't know how to proceed accordingly.
Right.
And so parents are in limbo, which is leaving kids in limbo. Right. And, you know, they're wanting, the majority are wanting to go to school. Absolutely. Because that's a chance to get to see their friends, to get to, to have some kind of normal life. And we want that for our kids. And so tell me what you guys think. You know, do you think they should go back to school this fall, or do you think they should have a combination of virtual and attendance? And are they going to wear masks all day? I mean, you know, these are questions that are
Great question.
absolutely important to know.
Speaking of masks, did you notice that in
We get a
Joplin?
drink on
Yes,
that
go ahead.
one.
You go ahead and get you a sip. In Joplin last week, the what
City
is it?
council?
The council. Yeah, you know those people.
The city council.
Yes, those
yeah.
people.
Fine bunch
They
of
went
people.
ahead. They went ahead and I guess reversed their first decision or changed.
Yes.
Or however you want to put that. What's the correct term?
Changed your mind?
They changed. Okay, yeah, they changed their minds.
And some did, because some of the votes were still the same
Yes.
as what they did the last
Yes,
time. There were actually only 2 that changed, but that was the deciding factor to get the mandate as an ordinance. And never in my lifetime would I have thought I have seen so much back and forth and so much animosity and just pure ugliness from some people on mask, whether to wear a mask or not.
Look, like I say, I've been wearing one since a while back, but you realize now as you go into stores and they turn people around at the doors,
Yes.
you know, and I was
Chasing them around in the store
Oh
even.
my goodness, chasing them. I'm like, well, if you don't have a mask on, I'm not chasing them. We got a pandemic. 6 feet.
Back.
Yeah, give me 60 of them. But it's just very interesting as you go into doctor's office everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere. There's not a place right now you can go. I feel like when I go to the drive-thru, I need to.
Drive-through.
It's the drive-thru, but they have theirs on. So, look, no, I'm just kidding. It's not that serious. But it is very interesting as you watch people. Now, here's a funny.
Mm-hmm.
I went to get my nails done, which is the first time I've done it since the pandemic, right?
Okay.
The lady that was getting it, the lady was sitting getting her nails done, and she got up, then I sat down, she left. And the nail tech was telling me, yeah, she's a nurse. And I was like, she didn't have a mask on though. And this is Saturday, so
it was in effect. Okay.
I was like, but see, that's what disturbs me though.
Mm-hmm.
You are living with it, you know, or do you know something we don't know? That's my next question. But I had a hard time with that. She was a nurse in here breathing in this space.
Yeah.
That's already a special situation. We were in phase 2 for that to open.
We're still in phase 2.
So, yeah, it's very awkward to me that the nurse didn't have a mask on.
Well, and you get some of the nurses, some of the medical profession people will say, no, you don't need one, and some say you do. Again, we're getting conflicting information. And I get the stories from people who say, well, I'm wearing it for your safety and my safety, and that's fine. And please don't get me wrong. If you want to wear a mask, by all means, put a mask on. If you don't want to wear a mask, by all means, just don't put a mask on. It's pretty much that simple. We're not condoning or
Do you? That's
There
what
you
we
go.
want you to do.
Do you?
Do you. Keep you and your family safe however you choose to do so.
some people will let you in and some won't.
No.
And just be ready to deal with that.
That's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but the kids will see. It remains to be
I'm
seen.
really in. So here's the question.
Yes.
Can some schools open, like private schools decide we're not opening and the public school open? Or if Joplin says we're opening, everybody Joplin has to open. How does that work?
Well, if it's a public school, they're going off of what the health department, the state health, and the education sector department says. And so if they say we're opening, then we're opening.
Okay.
You know, and with the guidelines that were established. And I believe they can go to the government webpage, one of those government web pages, whether it's the education or the health, and it will give those guidelines on attending school in the fall.
Wow.
I know. You wonder what that's going to do to the graduation rates.
Not that we had a very impressive graduation rate in the first place. Mid-80s
Yeah.
is where we're sitting. And that's pretty much solid across the United States, really. There's, I'm sure, some areas that will defy those numbers, so don't. We're going to go inner city, I'm sure we'll be much lower than some 80%.
Right.
But here in this area, we're about 83 to 86.
Okay.
I'm interested.
It will be interesting to see how that plays out, because if it drops, you know, it's going to be blamed on the pandemic.
Absolutely.
And if it rises, it might be blamed on the pandemic.
Either way.
But either way, it's the pandemic.
It's the truth. And someone here says, some people look better with the mask on. Some of them need a paper bag.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Well, so, yeah. Again, Colbert Connection is all about opinions
being you.
and speak your truth.
Absolutely.
Speak your truth. And yes, it can hide some bad breath even. You know, you don't have to share that bad breath with the rest of the world. You can keep it all to yourself. And we are thankful for that. We are thankful for that.
Yes. Good evening, Reverend Nero. We're just having a good time tonight.
Yes.
We are getting ready here in a little bit to add Dr. Brittany Street.
Yes, I'm excited to
Yes.
have her.
There are some exciting moves being made from the alumni chapters, from the alumni of the Joplin Area Catholic School.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm excited to hear about that from her.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. And it's something that's long overdue.
Absolutely.
What she's going to talk about is long overdue in the schools, in just the school systems, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I am interested to see, especially because she'll be talking to us about a private school,
Yeah.
where the public schools go. I'm interested.
There's a
You know,
difference.
I know I had one, what was it called? African American Studies.
Mhm.
But that was when I was in college.
Right.
And of course it was an elective. And I took it just because I felt I didn't know enough.
And where were you?
At Lincoln University in
Which is
HBCU.
there you go.
That's correct.
So they're going to teach it.
I am well rounded.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
And my oldest daughter graduated from an HBCU, and that's going to be
Another topic.
yes coming up next
week.
Next week.
Yep.
Make sure you tune in next week because we will be discussing HBCUs with Victor Sly.
will be there.
Yes.
Yes.
So we are excited for that. But yeah, and then we have the election that's going to be coming up with the hopefuls. We have the current president, and then we have Biden, and then we have
I'm still sad about Bernie, but we'll talk about that another day.
and then we have Kanye.
Oh.
Maybe or maybe not.
Yeezy, yes.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting come November, but do your research, and so you can make an informed decision.
Right. What's some happenings going on? We want to hear from you, good people. We playing out some room for y'all to give us some comments. I see a few of y'all on here live and kicking, but talk to us. What say you about the elections coming up? We want to know, who do you think is going to be President Biden? I'm putting that out there. President Biden's vice president. I hear we have quite a few hopefuls.
Well, there are some people out there that would be some good picks. Yes.
Melody Colbert King on the list?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
The write-in, it could happen. But no. I know there's something planned for me. I don't know what it is. I stay open.
There you go.
But I'm not looking for anything like that in any more political realms.
I can't really, I'm not even mad about the situation.
But I stay open. I
There
stay
you
open.
go.
I stay receptive.
Okay.
Receptive. Yes. But yeah. Huh.
Kamala Harris
Kamala.
is in the short list.
Susan Rice.
Susan Rice, who I had to check her out.
Hey, she's
She's
sharp.
impressive, and
Very
she was a
sharp.
part of the Obama administration,
Yes,
so
she's
they
very
do
sharp.
know each other.
And they've talked about Abrams.
Ah, yes.
Hmm.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
I even saw the name drop for Lance Bottoms.
Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Yes.
Yep.
Out of Atlanta, and I thought,
Mayor of Atlanta.
man, that would be a big jump, but that would be awesome.
It's wide open.
It is. It really is.
It's wide open. And it'll be interesting to see who he picks as his running mate. It will be interesting. It will be interesting.
On the other hand, if President 45
Mm-hmm.
were to get back in office, he has to come back with the same ticket, right?
Oh, he doesn't have to.
Hmm.
He doesn't have to.
So if you could pick another running mate for number 45, if you were running for number 46, who might that be? Just wondering.
Just wondering.
We're just all about good conversation.
Because we want to know. I'm open for who do you feel should be president?
Rev Nero says Kamala, but she might be too strong. I agree, because she was running for the seat herself. So
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying there. How do you play second seat now to what you initially wanted?
You got to have
fully
somebody
agree.
to balance you out.
Mhm.
So his shortcomings would be her strong points, and she would balance him out. But yeah, that would be an adjustment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Kim has jokes on here. Think I should run? No, ma'am. I am not receptive.
It's like there are things that we are all meant to do, and there are things we are not meant to do. And sometimes you kind of know, that's
right.
not my forte.
Absolutely.
But you never know, because I didn't plan on council and mayor and all that. But you know, when the Lord got a plan for you, He got a plan for you. Just put it and leave it at that. And when He chooses you for whatever, it's just what it is.
See that look she gave me? Whatever.
Whatever.
Oh, Erica, I love you, girl. Toilet paper for Trump's VP. The least toilet paper is useful.
Now let us be kind, but
no, this is.
I like
this
what you're
page
saying.
is about y'all. Like, say what you want to say.
I like what you're saying.
That is so funny though, but you know, I didn't watch a lot of news like I told you before,
Correct.
but you don't see or hear much from the VP much.
Right, because they don't know yet. They know they're all being considered, but they don't know. So it's like you got to watch what you say. Just like when you're in any public realm like that, everything you say can and will be held against you. Somebody's got a phone recording you, and don't let yourself show up on Facebook making comments if you're in a position that you could possibly asked to resign from or be fired from. Case in point.
Say, cousin. I
Done
feel
away.
like you're going somewhere with that.
I'm just saying, you have to know when you're in that spotlight that people are looking at you.
And things are going to be magnified.
And things will be magnified.
Absolutely.
And when you put it out there, somebody will see it.
Yep.
And it's going to be captured,
Absolutely.
screenshot, whatever. It don't matter how quick you take it down. It will be captured.
Absolutely.
And you just need to be ready for those consequences.
And you've put it out there at that point.
And you put it out there, so you meant it because you put it out there.
Absolutely.
And
so, like we said before, don't put it out there and then put behind it that apology that was fake.
I'm not this.
Yeah,
I'm
really
not that. I didn't mean it. And well, what did you mean when you said it?
Absolutely.
Or when you typed it? What did you mean? That's all I want to know. I'm willing to listen to you, but what did you mean when you typed it? Or when
when you said it, or
whatever. That's all. And you just need to be ready to say that.
And stand on it.
Don't backtrack. So, yes. Anyway, register to vote.
Yes, that's where we were rounding that whole story up to.
Register to vote. There's time.
There is. However, you are quickly running out of it.
Yes. Don't wait till the last minute.
Absolutely.
Because you'll forget. Things will come up, and before you know it, you won't get to vote. We want you to register and register now.
Absolutely. If you're anything like me, you don't like to stand in a line. I refuse. So if you're here local in the Joplin area, you can go to you can definitely absentee. Also DMVs. You can go to Carthage. You can go to Neosho. I would encourage you to maybe go to those outlying locations because very organized. You can get in and get out pretty quick.
There you
So,
go.
just
There
a
you
little
go. Don't even have to wait.
quick tip.
Yes,
just a little quick tip. Let's see. Melody, you balance out 45. What do you think about
Who said that?
Oh, Jen.
Jen, I love you. I really do. So let's keep it that way. But you do have a point. And like I said, it's a balance. You do need a strong, and because you're strong in an area, but somebody else is stronger in another area that you may be weak in. And I'm always open. I would get in there and I would talk to that man. Yes, I would. I would look, what are you talking about?
I wonder what his answer would be.
I would like to have a conversation with him. I would like to have a conversation with 45. Yes, I would. Yes. I said it. I would like to have a conversation with 45.
So any of our connects, make that happen.
Make it happen. All of my conservative friends, make that happen. I'd be more than happy to talk to them.
I'm just very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
We probably have a good conversation. I ain't gonna say we're gonna hug like Kanye and all that, but you know, I'm open. I'm always for who can get the job done.
Absolutely.
I don't care if it's a D, a R, a I, a G, or whatever the label. I don't care. Just who can get the job done and get it done in a manner that's respectful.
Right. So we don't look like a joke to all the other countries.
That's all. That's all.
So here's Erica. I love where you're going with that. I think Obama as a vice president would be so cool.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if, I'm sure there are rules and laws again. I don't know how to set up, I know. But that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Another hard to play second once you play first. However.
Oh, he'd probably relish that. He'd be like,
yeah, you do all the work. I'd roll. Could you imagine? I don't know if Michelle's going for that.
No, that she's not.
Back to the White House. Oh, Lord.
I dream a dream. I dream of a world.
But, I mean, they were kind of a dynamic duo. I love the bromance. That was just, they were so cool.
Those were, the memes were amazing. The little video clips,
they
amazing.
were awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, yeah. So it can happen for anybody. It can happen. And never let somebody squelch your dreams. If your ambitions is to run for something or to be something, then go for it. Go for it. The only limitation is your own thinking and your own mind. So if you feel that you want to do something in life, or if you feel that you want to achieve something, go for it. Don't squelch somebody else going for it or going for their dreams and goals. Go for yours. And if you do that, there's no regrets for you. You don't have to say, well, who do we think he is, or who does she think she is, or anything like that, because you're doing what you want to do. And that's the name of the game, you know? Do what you want to do. And that's what we all should do. And I keep looking that way, but she's doing my job, going to click in. We're getting ready to get Dr. Street on here. But so, you know, everybody, if you take the time to have some self-reflection and see what it is that you want to do, and then just do it. Like I said, your only limitation is you and your thought process. If you think you can't do it, it will not be done. And don't think that, oh, my idea is not the best, or oh, this and this. If that idea was given to you, whether it was a dream or it was a revelation, the Lord, whatever, do it. Because I promise you, if you don't do it, it'll get passed on to somebody else. And you'll wake up and be like, what? I had that thought. I had that dream. I had that goal. I should have did it. So, yes. That's what I'm going to say about that. Now, I can't see the board because Danica left her thing over here. What you got? Yes, I love you too. And Courtney, I see you on here. Courtney Hills. All right, thank you for watching. I'm trying to see. I can't hardly read. Erica Lanter. All right, I hear you. Jen, of course. Somebody, Stewart. Shantae. Hey, Shantae. We're going to need you as a guest on here, too. Yes, yes, yes. We are open to have everybody's dialogue. I don't know what my counterpart is taking so long for. Because y'all remember when I had to sneak off and do it was just boom. But I don't even know. This is my time when we have a commercial break of a business. We're going to talk about a business. Oh, Me's Place. Just so happens to be there. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 2. The drive-thru will be open and available for carry-out and for pickup. Drive-thru Me's Place. Come get some soul food Friday and Saturday, 11 to 2.
Why you say that like you knew what you was doing?
Yeah, I got to put the plug in. We got to fill some space. Cause my partner, I don't know what's going on.
See how they do you.
But thank y'all for your patience.
Brittany,
we'll answer some more questions.
Please, Brittany, if you will make sure you're on the Facebook app.
James, hey, thank you for joining us. Let's see. Camilla. Okay, we already seen that. Who else? Brittany. Oh, she said she's on here. What's going on?
Yeah, it's not letting me add her.
We're trying to get you on here, Brittany. I don't know what's going on. We should just be adding.
Yeah, okay. It's by everybody's name. There it is.
Okay, here she comes. Getting ready to be on here. Dr. Brittany Street. She's going to be joining us live.
Yeah, I think I'm on.
Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Good. Sorry about that. This is my first time being on Facebook Live, so
You are
I'm
fine.
sure the issues were on my end.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. I've been tuning in the past several weeks, and I just love the dialogue and all the discussion that you guys are making happen. That's awesome.
Thank you, Brittany. We were talking last week and getting the group excited about what you have going on at the Joplin area Catholic schools. I hate to steal your thunder, but can you start telling us about that? That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So this started, it must have been a few, oh, sorry.
Yeah, give us a little intro of you first.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Brittany Street. I am from the Joplin area, raised there all my life. Went to the Jack system, went to college at Missouri State, just finished getting my PhD in economics from A&M. And so now I'm here trying to be a part of whatever, conversations or dialogue we can do here in our hometown. So that's kind of a little bit about me. About the petition, this is something that Mary, my younger sister, actually, we were talking and we've had lots of conversations about really everything. There's a lot going on in 2020.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these issues, have been happening before 2020, and we've been talking about them a lot. And we were kind of like, well, maybe we should be talking about them with people other than ourselves.
Absolutely.
And maybe we should be listening to people other than ourselves. And so I think that was kind of, the start of, there's all kinds of ways to make change. Some of it's big policies, some of it's voting, but you can do stuff in your own backyard or hometown. And
yes, and that's what people need to know, that it doesn't take this big conglomerate of people, it takes one person starting it.
Yeah, and since we started, the idea of the petition is just to get conversations going specifically about racial injustices, the history, but also the present. That's not something, I think your speaker, Jordan from last week,
Yes.
he was talking about all this education he had, and not once was it discussed in history or politics, any of these classes. And I think we're all in that boat.
Absolutely.
Especially, unfortunately, and especially, for me, this is not anything I will ever actually experience myself. So it's very important to be proactive about seeking out these conversations and bringing these conversations to people like in the Jack system and in the Joplin community, where we aren't as diverse as other areas.
Right. I find it interesting that, we keep talking about we want change. However, like you reached out, you were like, we got to talk to someone other than ourselves. Mel and I can talk all day, but if it doesn't go outside of that, we're not going to help encourage the change. So as you and your sister started growing that network and that conversation, where did you go after you were like, let's do something? What was the process there?
Yeah, so I think it just started with, well, let's write down some thoughts. Let's see what this takes form and then see who's on board. So we had some other alumni, reached out. Do you feel this way? What are we thinking? And then we just thought, well, let's start the discussion publicly, openly. Let's just get the ball rolling. And so really that was just the whole idea is that this is step one of a much bigger, larger, hopefully movement within the Joplin area.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about
how that's been received. I know it was submitted 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Yes.
How was it received by the school systems and by the parish?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Whenever we're circulating it, so we let it circulate only for a week. I think, we probably could have kept doing it, but there's just broad support online for it. Of course, there's some pushback. You always expect that, especially when you're doing stuff online, right? Everyone has their opinion, and you want to hear those opinions because you want to be able to explain why you think what you think, or So that was good. I think we had both support, but also some pushback. And giving it to the board, we've had the outgoing director email us back, very supportive, very welcoming and opening of the principle behind the petition and the idea of alumni being involved and working towards this positive change. They actually just switched directors, so Sister Brandt is the incoming director. And so we're looking forward to more discussions with her. She literally assumed the position like July 1st or 4th or something.
Welcome to change.
Yeah, so this is something that we hope to be able to be, partners and, help assist in any way that we can as excited and involved alumni, because it takes time, energy, resource, and someone needs to be willing to do that.
That's right.
It takes a champion. It takes a champion. Somebody.
Well, and that's a big issue, especially with, thinking about, news cycles fading or election cycles fading, and are we still going to be here championing this cause, and will anything actually be done?
Will it make a difference? Yeah.
Or will we be here again in another 5 years, And so I think that was, let's start making changes where we can make changes.
Talk to us about some of the pieces of that petition, because as I read it, I was so excited about the things that you had in there. So if you'll tell us a little about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, chime in with other ideas. This was, neither Mary or I are, I should have said this at the beginning, by far from experts in any dimension. But, we try to make it very feasible things that any school system could do. And, it starts with, first and foremost, exposure. Do you have exposure to other people and their stories, not just, oh yeah, like, I saw someone at the grocery store, it's, did you hear what their actual experience is, and really hear, not just sit and, but really hear.
Did you listen?
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff, I, in going through grad school, saw all these different, research paper after research paper of just really, wide disparities. And I thought, wow, like, this is very surprising. And had maybe I had more exposure or listened more earlier on, this is not anything that's necessarily new, but it was new to me. And so I think that's the idea is, exposure is step one, and we would love to bring in, whether we fundraise for it or there's volunteers, bring in, public speakers from, diverse backgrounds that have these different messages about their own life experiences. And you've had several people on the show already, but maybe I'll just send them the recordings. And then also just, changing what you're reading. Like, what are you being exposed to? How is all of history being taught? There's some of the big pieces, and then we leave it at that. Slavery happened and now it's over kind of thing. And there's a lot since then that, I wasn't aware of. And I think many high schoolers and even college goers are not getting.
And that's a good point that you're mentioning that, because if you haven't been around it or you haven't lived it, then you have no way of knowing. But when you see someone of a different ethnicity, then you know that there's a story. And so that's kudos to you for even undertaking Just taking that initiative to want to.
And that's the thing is, how can we make it easier for people to know?
Yes.
How can we do that? Because, if we want change and real change, and if we want to rectify this and make it better, we all need to be on board. We are, white people are the majority. And so if we aren't willing to listen and understand, the broader things that is at play right now, not just, this one police incident. No, it's much broader than that.
Much broader.
But do we have the context? And is our education system giving us that context? Because
that's a resounding no.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And especially, you think about what's going on all around us, and how are we processing it? Do we have this dialogue openly happening? My sense is no across many schools. So,
And he's correct.
Well, I
and
think in a lot of times we act like some of these things didn't happen. Joplin is so close to Tulsa, but we don't teach anything about the Tulsa Black Wall Street or any of the riots or any of those things. And some of those things I didn't learn until I went to an HBCU. Now, mind you, I went to private schools all my life. But that didn't matter because Joplin, period, doesn't teach it.
No, I agree with you about that. They do not. And up until, they're still not. There's always you get the slavery, the slave ship.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
There has to be more. There has to be more to this story.
my parents told me a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right. Is how are you supposed to understand what is even happening, or the experiences people are telling you about, if you have none of that context?
Right. And that's one thing why I think it's important that when we get people say, well, you have Black History Month a month. We're Black 365 days a year. So, yeah. Can we just be history also? I mean, we are, and so that is wonderful that you are making sure that history. That's wonderful.
Yeah, hopefully this is just the start. I think I've heard whispers of this happening in other school systems, and I think that would be huge. I think this is, been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So hopefully this is step one. It might be a small school system, right? But setting an example of how this can be done and how it should be done.
That's right.
And I think for the Joplin schools, I think Patsy Robinson is actually talking with some of the people on the school board or the director of schools on getting something going for the Joplin schools. And I think she's going to be ahead of that. So
I'll have to make sure I follow this.
You guys need to
Connect. Absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, because this is needed.
Yeah. And I just keep thinking, because we don't experience it, I do not experience this. And the majority of Joplin is white. This is not something that you're just going to happen across or understand. It is something you have to be much more intentional about.
Right.
And it's not a problem that St. Louis has.
Yeah.
Like you said, Tulsa is very close, and Joplin has had its own issues. And so, the idea that this is not a problem for us is very misleading. But I think it's what a lot of us end up thinking about because we don't witness it ourselves.
Right.
Or it doesn't happen to someone we personally know.
That's
Well, I'm
right.
trying to high-five you.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting lately because everybody's catching everything on video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if situations like the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylor, all those things didn't come about when it did, we would still be hiding the fact that these things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, absolutely. And like you said, we have to be intentional about everything that we do. And I find the fact that people of color are reporting things is very intentional. It's on time. It's for a purpose, a reason, and a season for now. So those things are happening. Your time is right on time for now. What Mel and I are doing here is just another avenue for now, because we have to do our best so that we don't leave nieces, nephews, children behind in this crazy 2020 world that we're living in. And we're still talking about racism that existed in 1950s.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even being able to identify it today.
Right.
Because just because, like you were saying, just because you may not have seen it doesn't mean it isn't happening or that that it doesn't exist. It's when a person of color says something to you, or not just to you, but in general, saying something. How can you? And I'm not saying you, but how can you deny their experience, what they've experienced? And so I think it's very important that this is addressed on whatever level people are able to.
Absolutely.
This is our method, this is your method. Everybody else has methods also. But it's being addressed.
Absolutely. And it doesn't look the same all the time that it did in 1950s, right? We've gotten to these new levels. We're educated. We've got a lot going on. But on these different levels, every level new devil is what they say. It's like, you get this job and all of a sudden there's somebody that has those feelings and they're going to make it hard for you to get anything done on your job, even though you're doing everything you're supposed to get done. It's just interesting the way that it shows itself on all the different levels.
Sometimes you look at it as you trade the sheets have been traded for business suits and judge suits and things like that, and that's disheartening, but it's reality.
Right.
And so we have so many avenues that we need to address it in. And Jordan was speaking last week, he said it's the system. The system was designed. So,
go ahead. Whenever we have these, we have that, family member that said something they shouldn't have said, and always speaking up, and or that friend, or that aunt or uncle, or someone you view as a mentor, and you kind of let it slide, and Mary and I were like, well, it's time to stop being quiet, just because sure we're not the experts, or sure we're not this, but to be silent is not the answer. And I think like you were saying, is these people with these offhand comments, well, those are the people hiring, those are the people offering you medical care, or the people educating you, or raising children and the future generation. And so it does matter, and so addressing it, because like you said, as racism looks different, it might not be, the white robes, but it shows up in these different systems with really severe consequences.
Brittany, you were so right on when you're like, it just looks completely different, and it's so interesting, like as you're saying, having those family members and making those comments, and you have to say something. And I think as you start having those conversations, it will get to that point where they're like, okay, maybe I should take a look at me, because it might really be me. They showed on the news this last week the fellow that was at the restaurant, and he was going off on the Asian family. I don't know if you caught that on the news.
No.
He was just racial comments at the restaurant just for no reason. They were having a birthday party, and he was at a table by himself, and they was put out of the restaurant by an employee, and she was on Good Morning America. They had nothing but great things to say. That was huge for you, as she wasn't even the manager, just as an employee, to put him out of the restaurant for what he was saying. That was huge. And she didn't know it was being recorded at the time. His family has made comments now on the news about, you're so embarrassed. And
even he's apologized.
Yeah, but you know how we feel about that. But it's just, you never know. Just someone might be recording that. Your family might actually be receptive to what you're saying because of who's delivering it. compared to them saying it to someone and you'd be like, what did you say? That's how big, because that's
Yeah.
how where I was. But you have
Well,
to.
and the idea of taking ownership of your own family, community interactions, I mean, the onus is not on the people experiencing it
That's right.
at all. And it's exhausting, I've come to find.
Welcome
But-
to our world.
Exactly. And that is my point, is I have had the privilege of not having to address this day in and day out, like you said, 365 days a year. And so that was a reality, opening to me, is once we did start speaking up, it's like, wow, we should have been doing this a long time ago, and it's exhausting.
So it is, Brittany. I have to ask, what laid on your heart to make that move? Because did you have a great friend you met in college that you were open to different experience, or maybe sites? Because we know Joplin, there's not many. So talk to us a little bit about why. Yeah.
No, so I think that's a great point, and it's actually really weird kind of how I came to this point in my life. And it was through, a series of, a handful of research papers. One is just this straight up audit study where they send identical resumes, identical schooling, identical experiences, but with either a whiter or blacker sounding name.
Mm-hmm.
And the callback rates were twice as high for white. And, a true randomized experiment, and the idea that, okay, this is not anything else. This is real. This is serious. This is employment. That everything else depends on our health benefits, depend on employment. It just cascades. And so I think, it was that, plus the different evidence in the criminal justice system, not just police, but across the stages, plus the evidence in education and healthcare. It was that every major system, there was this empirical evidence. And honestly, it's a shame it took me reading the research papers, because this is something that I'm sure both of you knew a long time ago. No, truly, it is. And it was that, after seeing this and then witnessing it happening in our country time and time again, it was like, okay, like, holy smokes, enough is enough. And so, yeah, and I tend to think, that was actually why we wanted to work through the education system, is that it took me seeing all this stuff because I didn't have the exposure ahead of time.
Right.
And so we can fix this through educating them on this stuff specifically, but also just through increasing exposure and being more intentional. So that's kind of how I got here.
I love it.
And I think something that you just brought up, if we as people of color bring up something, like you're saying, it seems to not hold water. But if a white person brings it up, then it's, well, let's look into this.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. And you're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating to an extent, but it's like, well, hey, we're thankful that our white
Yeah.
So James,
Well, it's a shame it took this long.
James Fields on the page asks, how do we keep this level of communication outside of this discussion? Do you have friends that are not people of color that are open to having those same conversations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is something that, both online, offline, phone calls have been, openly discussed among, alumni who, more directly related to the petition, but also just friends as human beings. Like, this is something that we should have been talking about a long time ago. And to some extent we did, we just then didn't do anything about it. And that's where, again, the petition comes in, is, well, what is something we could do today?
That's right.
And so hopefully the discussion keeps rolling. I'm always open. I should be doing a lot more listening. So
Love it.
Just saying that you're open, and that's you have to have a little mindset and be willing to learn something outside of what you know and grew up in, to realize that there's something maybe a little different than just what I was taught.
yeah.
So I applaud that, and that's awesome.
keeping the discussions open.
Absolutely. So, as our final question for you, what is something with your network of people, your community, that you can do this week to make impact or to make a change or to get them pushed in this direction of open conversation?
That's a great question. Now I'm going to have to think about it. I think that in general, the number one thing is to, if you're watching this or if you're connected with me, is to then, read the petition or read, other things that we've been discussing, or watching these videos and the past videos. The one you had last week hit a lot on these different issues. And then have a conversation with someone that didn't see it. Someone, a brother, a sister, a parent. And that is something, step one you could do tonight. The other step you can do this week is register to vote. The other thing is to read a book outside of your normal, we watch these, TV shows, but you could watch documentaries and self-teach. You can learn this information on your own as well. It doesn't have to be through the education system, although it would be nice to make it more streamlined and give more people exposure, but yes.
I think it's important that people know it's not about the black and white. It's how can we as a collective human race do better? Because it takes all of us to make it work.
Absolutely.
And little bits and little bits, just like what you're doing, is a start.
Yeah.
We have to start somewhere.
Absolutely. And hopefully then it snowballs and everyone's there. So
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you linking in with us, doing something out of your comfort zone. You have taught and confirmed something for me that we have always said, but I have never heard, I haven't really looked for the data behind the names on your resume. We knew it, but I never looked for the support. So it just makes you wonder if Danica Colbert was Danielle Colbert.
or Brittany Street.
Yes. Where might she be? It just. Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much, Brittany, again, Dr. Street, for coming.
Very appreciative of you, and we'll be looking for you again later on.
Yeah, we want to hear about that petition. Yes.
Yeah. I'll keep you apprised, and I'll keep tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Facebook Live, that is going to be a wrap for us. Next week, we will have Victor Sly.
Yes. We're excited for that, talking about HBCUs, which means historically black colleges and universities.
I love how you broke that down, because I hate acronyms and you don't really know what that acronym means. So
you should be fully aware.
Fully aware. And we have one right here in Missouri.
People are like, huh? Not in Joplin.
In Missouri.
In Missouri.
Yes. So we'll talk about that. I am a product of that establishment. They do educate. So outside of that, we are excited. Thanks for tuning in, as always. If you have questions, got hot topics, anything, we take all of that.
Yes.
We want to talk about it.
Because we can talk about, and like you said, it's not going to always be this. We do everything. We want to know,
why do we only get one wear out of underwear? One wear. Guys sometimes think they can get two. Why? Explain.
One wear underwear.
I don't know.
And why can't we wear jeans 3 days in a row before we wash them?
Inquiring minds would like to know.
Give us some answers. We'd like to see that.
Other than
join us next time, Tuesday, 6 o'clock sharp, on the Colbert Connection.